Hello, and welcome to Travel Stories Unpacked, the travel podcast where we talk about all things travel, from silly to the serious and everywhere in between. So if you love listening to stories about travel and all of the opinions that go along with that, then you have come to the right place. And I am your host, Ashley Newton. Thank you all so much for joining me today for our topic about Disney adults. Now, this topic, there is a lot to it. So I have invited the wonderful Amy Garner to the show today, who is not only a travel agent, but also a self-proclaimed Disney adult.
It's true, I am.
Right here, live and in person, everyone. So I think, this is something you see all the time. People just sort of throw the term around. But we want to take a step back and, define that. When you hear it, at least personally, Amy, Disney adult, what does that mean to you?
I mean, to me, a Disney adult is just an adult who happens to love Disney. And so I know that there's way cringier definitions of that. You are a Disney adult because you have a unhealthy obsession with Disney. But I just stick to I really like Disney.
See, that's so funny because when I was sitting down, I was like, okay, I'm going to get Amy to define it, and then I'm gonna say that I am an adult who likes Disney, but I'm not a Disney adult. And I think it's because in the public eye, they put this big emphasis on well, if you're a Disney adult, that is your whole personality.
Yes.
And I feel that maybe that's not true.
I feel I mean, I think that there are a lot of people who are Disney adults where it is their whole personality. Yeah. They're going to always have something Disney on their person and all of that.
Oh, yeah. Have you met anybody with Disney tattoos?
Oh, yeah.
Any good ones? Because I've seen some good ones.
Some amazing tattoos. And there's a tattoo artist in Orlando who does the cutest versions of Disney characters. And that's on my list. I never thought I was going to get a Disney tattoo until I saw hers.
Now, being a travel agent, this is a little bit of a digress, but we are so well aware of the licensing that goes around these Disney characters.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember back in the day, Disney would do this thing where it's it's going in the vault. It's in the Disney vault. Yeah. And that's how I feel about a lot of their things. So now I'm thinking about the tattoos and I'm can you have that? Is that...
I mean,
do you owe somebody
use,
some
right?
royalties? That's true.
For personal use. That's what I'm going with.
Okay, so still working through the idea of Disney adults. I also think maybe people don't think about Disney adults if you, do it within the privacy of your own home. Are you an adult that subscribes to Disney Plus? Do you... Because I am. Are you... Well, actually, thanks, sister. But, I watch the movies. I cannot wait for Inside Out 2.
Yes.
I look forward to these things. Yeah. And then... so is it just that, or do you have to go, to the parks? Is it, that level that makes you a Disney adult?
Ooh, that's a good question. Do the parks determine your Disney adultness?
Yeah.
I have to think about this for a minute. So, because I feel I do kind of feel you have to go to the parks to be, truly
to get the badge.
Disney adult. I mean, I feel a Loungefly backpack is also, a cornerstone of the Disney adult experience.
I won't lie. I want one so bad.
You don't own one yet, though?
No, but I did see, and this isn't technically Disney, but it was the Lord of the Rings Loungefly with the little hobbit, and I almost bought it on the spot.
I love it.
Do you have one? Do you have a Loungefly?
Yeah.
Okay, which one?
So I have the cats from the Aristocats.
Oh my gosh. Okay, wait, so it's Marie, Toulouse. Oh no, I always forget. Tell me. You don't know either?
I don't remember either.
I know I just did a puzzle.
There's a Disney adult out there who's I'm taking her title back right now. She's fired.
I earned it, I swear. Keep listening.
Absolutely. But I am trying not to be a Disney consumer adult because I do feel there's subcategories of Disney adults. There's the Disney merchandising adults who it's all about the Loungefly, the ears, the spirit jerseys, the whatever, and that is what they love. And then there's the movie people, the park people, because also are Marvel people a subset of Disney adults?
Thank you. I wonder that too, because people will really proudly put their name in that camp, but they might not necessarily want you to be putting Disney associated with them. But I hate to break it to you, like, that is the same thing now.
Right?
Same with Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like, it's
true.
It's all under that umbrella.
All under one umbrella. But, like, there's definitely some Star Wars fans out there who are mad at us right now for telling
even looping them into this conversation.
Wow.
Well, let us know where we went wrong now. I mean, please do, though, honestly, because these comments can be hilarious sometimes when on this topic. Like, because people do get so fired up and so passionate about it.
Strong opinions about Disney adults. Strong opinions.
Well, and, like, I grew up on the Disney brand, you know, as I feel is not an uncommon story. And, like, I remember always, like, having these characters that I identified with and, like, you know, your favorites. And it was almost like you knew that about the closest people around you.
Absolutely.
Like, you knew who their favorite characters were or what princesses were their favorite. So now I want to ask you, Amy, what is your favorite Disney character?
And
it doesn't have to be a princess.
This is, like, the world's hardest question. Because then you loop in, like, the Marvel and the Star Wars and the whatever. And
okay.
Like,
for the sake of this, though, let's stick with classic. Okay. I will say Pixar's allowed, though.
Okay. Well, so my favorite recently changed, actually, after Encanto came out. Because I love Luisa. Okay. Like, her song, her whole vibe. She's my jam.
I listened to that song on repeat for, like... too long.
You're a Disney adult, I hate to tell you. Like, done, sealed.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
But no, Luisa is definitely, like, that
she
whole
rose
movie,
through the ranks.
Like, the new Disney movies, though, can you not tell that, like, now millennials are in control of, like, Disney animation studios? Like, we're retelling, like, generational trauma and healing and, like, Disney movies. Like,
I did see this thing about how Disney villains aren't villains so much anymore. They're more like ideas and like these really complex things. And I'm like, like, now that you point it out and I go back, I'm like, there aren't just like witches and stuff anymore, you know?
No.
But I won't lie, I was terrified of the Snow White witch, who's just called like the evil queen / witch, right? She doesn't have like a special like witchy name.
Right.
But like so terrified. Like, so even when the villains were more traditional villains, they were still terrifying, at least to me, like, as a kid. Like, it's true. Could not sleep. And then I went on the ride before they changed it.
Yes.
And I was like, and my mom, she was so sweet. She was like, I just thought you'd like all the pretty flowers. I didn't think about how dark it got at the end.
It's dark.
It was! Like, they're like the avalanche where it's like she's knocking all the stuff over, and of course I'm like a child, so I'm like, oh my god, this is it, like I'm gonna go down.
This is how I go.
Okay, so favorite Disney character right now is Luisa. But if you had to pick a favorite Disney princess from the approved catalog, I guess we'll say, because that's a very real thing too, like
who is a princess and who is not a princess. I mean, like, growing up, my favorite was always Snow White.
Interesting, because I had one in mind for you and it was not Snow White.
Now I'm a Belle girl. Is that who you had in mind?
Yes, okay. Because Amy loves to read, like, which I know that's such a, like, easy comparison for that character.
You read, you like Belle, you're so creative.
Groundbreaking.
Wow.
No, but, like, that doesn't surprise me. And, like, I didn't feel like, you know, people really think about it, but, like, I've had my same Disney princess since forever, and it's Jasmine. Thank you for asking.
Oh, I'm shocked.
I love that line where she's like, I am not surprised to be one. Like, she really stands up for herself in this movie, and, like, when I was a little kid, that was, like, empowering.
Well, I feel like she was one of the first princesses that was, like, aggressively, like, I'm good. I don't. She's
sassy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Plus, I mean,
it tracks.
The red scene where she's in that was awakening. Okay, so I don't think we've even come to a full definition of Disney adult, but I think we've broadened at least my initial understanding. And, like, where I was originally an adult who happens to like Disney, I think you're convincing me, girl, you're just a Disney adult. Like, you've got to, like, own it at some point.
You might be.
But so we agree at least the parks is an element to being a Disney adult.
I think so.
And, of course, you know, there's locations all over the place, but for the sake of, like, Disney World versus Disneyland, because you've been to both parks, do you notice one has a different sort of atmosphere when it comes more to, like, catering for adults?
I think that Disneyland is more of the adult
And
Disney
Disneyland is California.
Yes.
Disney World is
Yes.
Florida.
Because like Disneyland is like the original. And so I feel like there's like a Disney adult purist subset too, where like Disneyland is the OG. That's where you go.
Well, that's kind of annoying. I'm sorry. If
Yeah.
you're taking it to that degree, like, calm down.
Fair enough.
Is that you, though?
No, because I grew up in World. Like,
Okay.
I grew up going to World. So,
Well, and you're in, like, Louisiana.
Yeah, I'm down
Is that where
south.
you're from, though?
Florida originally.
Oh, gotcha.
So, like, World is where I went. Land is like the history. World is like current, where we're going.
Do you
That's how I
notice
feel.
when you go to one that you're like, oh, I see a lot more adults by themselves at this one? Or
Yeah, I feel like, so, like, Disneyland has a reputation for being for locals, I feel like, more than Disney World. So, like, that's why Land has the ride overlays, like, they do the Haunted Mansion and all those kinds of things with Nightmare Before Christmas, because it's locals. Disney World is more of like a once-in-a-lifetime type trip.
Gotcha.
So I feel like people go to Disney World with kids, as kids, whatever. And like Disneyland is like, go anytime.
Okay,
Mhm.
so now I'm going to have to go to both of these for
Yes, you
very
are.
critical research and development phases and really just make up my own mind, I think.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
but if you go to one or the other, let us know, because we
Mhm.
can't be everywhere all the time. So we'd love to hear your feedback and your comments on this. But I think my main question that I'm hoping to get some insight to today is, why do people care about this at all? Why is anybody waking up and getting actively upset or passionate about Disney adults just existing?
I do wonder about this because like people go to Universal and they're fine with it. You don't talk about like Harry Potter adults or other like.
Nobody's ever made fun of me for going to Cedar Point like 3 times a year.
Like oh, you go to all the Six Flags, like loser.
Yeah.
Like no one feels that way, but they feel that way about Disney. And I don't know what it is. Like, I feel like there's this association that Disney is for little kids. And so it's like, oh, you're like reliving your childhood. And it's like, well, also like not all of us got to go to Disney whenever we wanted as kids or like had unlimited access. Like I'm an adult with adult money now. Like,
no, I was just talking to a friend about this and it's the idea of like letting yourself buy things that you never could buy as a kid. You didn't have money or maybe your family wasn't in the situation. So now you're just like, I'm going to buy the squishy stuffed animal or I'm going to buy the overpriced water bottle. Or I'm just going to treat myself a little bit.
Yeah.
So that I totally understand. But what confuses me about people being like Disney is for kids is like, it actually was never designed that way.
No.
That was never the intent. And I'm really gonna sound like a tried and true Disney
I was
person.
gonna say I am getting more and more skeptical of your previous statements about being a adult who likes Disney.
This will be that final nail in the coffin probably, because I watched every single documentary on Disney Plus with the Imagineers and stuff. In the history of Disney, Walt's purpose was always to have more adults in his movies, not in the movies, but coming to see his movies. Snow White was not intended for little kids,
right?
So it's very interesting to me that now we just push that label on everything, and I wonder when that shift happened, because even when The Little Mermaid came out, that was a story about a teen girl for teen girls. It wasn't for little girls. So I mean, I'm sure they enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. But it's just interesting to me.
Solid question. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's true. I remember going to see Finding Nemo, as a, high school, college kid, multiple times in the theater, which is why I'm a Disney adult. I don't even try.
Everybody at my school was obsessed with Finding Nemo, and I, of course, had to be that person that was like, well, now I hate it. This movie's stupid. I'm too cool for what you guys like. So that was dumb. But but maybe that's part of it too, though, is this idea of feeling well, I don't want to be doing what everybody else is doing. I'm gonna stand out from the crowd, so I'm gonna make these people look silly or try to diminish their, but at the end of the day behavior. But a hobby is a hobby. What does that matter? I'm really into jigsaw puzzles. Does that make me a grandmother? A little bit, probably.
Wow.
Probably a little bit.
That's another topic.
But so I don't know, I guess in general I don't really think you should spend that much time and energy caring about what other people do. But
I agree.
we did compare it, or at least I brought up, like, Cedar Point and Six Flags. And I do think it's important to understand, if you are planning a trip to Disney, that if you're used to, like, thrill rides, that is not the same. Like, I think they have, like, one or two that they classify as, like, thrill.
Each park has, like, a couple of thrill rides, but you're not going for roller coasters.
Yeah, no, you're not going to be
for
hitting
storytelling.
Yeah, it's more of, like, an immersive experience. So I do think it's important to understand that element and not be planning on, like, I'm going to hit these record-breaking coasters, and then I'm going to, like, it's just a different park with different things. Yeah.
Definitely.
And I still like a thrill ride. So that's one thing that has held me back a little bit about going as an adult. But then also you hear these stories that are just, like, out of control. And I think that maybe this is what gives Disney adults a bad name too. Yeah. And, like, granted, I have not been, like, literally since I was an actual child. So I have not experienced anything in person. But I am on the internet, so you see things. And yeah, and, like, the one thing I will say that kind of just rubs me the wrong way is when people are doing that video of themselves and they break down to their knees when they see the castle. And they just cry, and then they're sobbing, and then everybody, like, is sort of parting the ways around them for them to have their breakdown in public. And, like, that, I'm like, like, I don't... But then also... I cry every time I go to see a Broadway show, but I do it quietly in my seat, and I don't record it for the world, but maybe that's why I judge it, because it hits a little close to home, because, like, I'm a crier, so I'm like, you're giving us a bad name.
I feel like we all have things that we do that are, like, totally cringeworthy. Yeah. And it's just, like, how much do you want to embrace your cringe?
What have you seen, though, being more active to the parks than I? There has to be at least one or two things that you've been like, no, don't do that.
Do not. Like, I don't know, like, I try not to, like, yuck other people's yum, but when the influencers go in the parks and they literally have, like, a baby stroller full of, like, clothing and props.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes. To go and, like, film for the day so they can get, like, a year's worth of content on their, like, one-day park ticket. And so they'll just go, like, that's a little, like, cringy to me, because it's like you're not even there to enjoy it. But see, that I think is part of what gives Disney adults a bad name, is, like, Disney influencers are not necessarily Disney adults. Right. And so it's like, what is the intention? But yeah, that's probably my, like, I get it, especially if you, like, love Disney, you want to create content and you don't live near the parks, but, like, you're not even are you having fun?
That's what's...
Maybe they're having fun.
It seems almost like a business trip. Because, like, to me, if that is how you make your money, more power to you. I really don't know how it works. But, like, way to live your dream. But, like, if you are there and it's a money-making venture, then I also feel like there's a little bit of lack of authenticity in your content that you're putting out. At least for me, like, that comes through. Like, I want to see... There's this girl on TikTok. I'm sorry, I don't remember your channel or your name or what it is. But she is eating something from the parks every day, and she lets, like, a random generator do it.
Girl.
Yes. And I love her because she's so real. She's just like, I like this, but you probably wouldn't, or, like, this is good for the value, or, like, whatever. Like,
or that. I picked poorly, and if you got something else, you would probably like this restaurant.
Like, I messed up, but, like, I'll give them another try. So, like, that sort of thing. But the super manufactured, glitzy glamour, every shot has no people in it. I mean, that's not real.
Not real at all.
Yeah.
At all.
No. But, like, I've also heard stories of adults, like, sort of taking over the space and maybe even, like, pushing people down. Now, I haven't seen this, but I've heard about it.
That has happened to us on my daughter's 3rd birthday. We were there with her little best friend.
And I'm sorry, you said she's 3?
She was 3 at the time, yeah. And we're there, and my daughter and her best friend are obsessed with Toy Story. Like, Woody and Buzz Lightyear, who they called Gobby for some reason.
Aww, that's so cute.
Woody and Gobby were, like, the highlight of their life. We're standing in front of the castle. The parade comes by. It's literally their birthday. Like, and there was an adult that straight up pushed us out of the way to get to Woody first. And I was like, sir, like... These are children. It was wild.
I cannot, for the life of me, fathom that situation at all. Mm-hmm. Like, number one, I don't like crowds. I'm never going to be intentionally touching another person. Like, ew. Like, gross. But the idea of like, well, this space is for
laying
me now.
hands on a child.
And I was gonna actually originally take the defense of, well, you have to watch your kids. Like, if you, just because you're in a place for kids doesn't mean that they can run rampant and free. You still need to, if you like those leashes,
that's a whole separate conversation too.
Like, it really is.
Taking, like, being responsible for your kids.
Yeah, but it sounds like you were doing literally everything by the book, and this person still came in and was like, this is for me!
Like,
Woody! Hey, Woody! That is bizarre.
It was not the vibe.
But if you do want more of an adult space at Disney, there are plenty of opportunities. Like, absolutely. I know every time around, like, that year, I get the wine and food, like, Epcot Festival thing, and every year I'm like, I'm gonna do it this year. This is the year. And then, aren't they doing more stuff like that? Like,
all the festivals at Epcot are, like, super adult-focused. There is stuff for kids to do, but, like, kids aren't trying to go drink around the world, hopefully. Not trying to drink around the world.
Yeah. Should we do a Drink Around the World podcast? Please let us know in the comments.
Say yes. But absolutely we should. But no, I think there's like a ton of adult focused spaces. There's a lot of lounges and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, and I read somewhere in the crevices of the internet that they were going to start doing like adult nights and like
at Disneyland they do that.
For the locals.
Yeah. Disneyland, see? That's the Disney adult park.
Yeah. But I mean, when it comes down to it, if they're literally even putting in the time and effort for these adult only or adult centric sort of events, then I think y'all gotta sort of let it go. They let them do them, or like, you know, whatever, judge them if you want, because honestly that is sort of what it comes down to, is being comfortable in your own choices too. Like if somebody wants to judge me for being like first in line to see Inside Out 2, then like do that. But like I've been waiting a long time and I'm really excited for it.
I love it. I'm like, I'm resilient. I'm a Disney adult. I'm a Swiftie. Like I have so many.
Oh, you take it all.
Yeah, like I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. Like you can say anything. You're not going to hurt me at this point.
Well, and what a lesson to learn, you know, because really you got to be comfortable. It's your money. It's your time. It's your vacation. Right. So do it up.
I like it.
All right. Well, thank you, Amy, so much for joining me today. I'm so sorry that happened to you and your family, though, and I hope that all your future trips are much more magical.
The pixie dust came back to us tenfold.
Okay, maybe we'll have to have another talk about like secret little park hacks and stuff.
Oh, I like it.
Because that is very intriguing to me. So let us know if you want to hear more about that. Amy, thank you so much for coming and sharing your experiences and your opinions and really helping me, I guess, own my Disney adult label.
Always happy to bring another Disney adult into the fold, to the dark side, maybe even.
Well, yeah, because I love Star Wars too. And like, there are so many things that we could talk about under Disney. So like park tips, and you know, we could go into all those branches. So maybe we'll keep having this conversation on another episode. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and don't forget to keep tuning in every Friday morning where we're going to have new stories, new opinions, and new guests. And this podcast is brought to you by KHM Travel Group, which is a leading host agency for independent travel agents. So head to khmtravel.com to learn more. Bye!